What's going on, everyone? It's Joe here from Adoption. You want to know the best thing about hard, sound money? Is that it's deflationary. And just like paper fiat currency, you can't create more of it. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the Bitcoin halving, what it is, and why it's so important. Stay tuned. Okay, great, folks. So we are officially 11 days away from the next Bitcoin halving. And some people are kind of confused by this concept. They may be hearing it now and then on social media or the news, and they may not know exactly what it means and why it's important. To break it down in a simple way, the Bitcoin halving is when the amount of Bitcoin that's released into the overall circulating supply is cut in half. Now, we look at currencies, and we've talked about the dollar in the past. The dollar is an inflationary currency, meaning that more of it is created, right? So more is added to the overall supply of dollars, and the overall amount of dollars is worth less because the Federal Reserve and central banks can print as much money as they want, as many dollars as they want. Bitcoin, though, is what's referred to as a deflationary currency. Because there's only so much of it that exists on Earth at one time, there will be no more that's created of it. So therefore, it's deflationary. It's worth more next year than it was worth today because there's only so much that exists. So whoever has a portion of that overall supply, its value should theoretically go up in time. Now, the way that the actual system is set up to release more of this Bitcoin into the circulating supply is done through the mining process. So when miners validate a block, they are rewarded a block reward. And it's a fixed amount. It's 12.5 Bitcoin every 10 minutes right now. So this block reward is released every 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes, 12.5 Bitcoin are released by the overall network and the Bitcoin protocol, the software, into the supply. So 10 minutes goes by, 12.5 Bitcoin is released to the overall amount that's in the market. 10 minutes goes by again, 12.5 Bitcoin are released. 10 minutes go by again, 12.5 Bitcoin are released. Every 4 years, the amount of Bitcoin that's released is cut in half. So right now it's 12.5. After May's halving event, it will be 6.25, and then 4 years from now, it'll be cut in half again to 3 point whatever. So this is particularly important because after May, there will be less Bitcoin that will be released than there had been in the past, and then 4 years from now, there'll be even less Bitcoin released than there has been before that. So why is this important to know? Well, it's important to know because there's a decreasing supply in the overall amount of Bitcoin being released into the network. When there's a decreasing supply of something being released, specifically a currency, it's more scarce. And we know that when things are more scarce, they tend to be worth more in the future. Therefore, as Bitcoin becomes more scarce, its demand should theoretically grow over time because there's less of them available. But keep in mind that Bitcoin can be broken down to 100th millionth decimal places. Now, I know that doesn't sound like much to people, but what that means is that you can break this currency down in decimal places. So as time goes on, every 4 years, the block reward will be split in half. So again, it's 12.5 right now. After May's halving, it'll be 6.25. And then 4 years from then, it'll drop down to 3 point whatever. And then 4 years from then, it'll get split in half. It'll continue to do this up until the year 2140. So this is important for me to think about because, put this into perspective here really quickly. 20 years from now, 30 years from now, the block reward will have been split so many times that we'll see, 0.01 Bitcoin being released every 10 minutes. And years from now, even further, we could see 0.0001 being released into circulation. So if you're a millennial or if you're a young person or if you want to save for the future, this is very powerful because, saving now in Bitcoin will reward you in the future because of its scarcity, because there's less that will be released into the overall supply. That's the primary thing that I want to get across to people. And look at where we are today in the economy. The Federal Reserve just printed $6 trillion over the last few weeks. $6 trillion more were created. That means that all of the money that we have in our wallets and our bank accounts today held in US dollars are worth less than they were before the Fed printed $6 trillion. With Bitcoin, that cannot happen. There are only 21 million that will ever be in existence. There's over 17 million that are in the overall circulating supply now, and less will be released over the coming years through the halvings. So Bitcoin is a savior to what we have today with inflationary currencies, and it is a savior to your savings and your preservation of wealth. That's what's important, and that's what you need to know about the halving. If you've got any questions, please leave them in the comments section. I will do my best to get back to them. And until next time, take care, y'all.